Welcome back to Crypto World Educate. Hope you all are having a fantastic day out there. I've got a great video for you here today. Before we continue, we would like to say thank you to all our existing subscribers, and if you are new to this channel, kindly smash that like button and of course, share this content. Let others around the world know what is truly happening in this cryptocurrency world. Before we get into this video, I want to put a couple of things on your radar. First off, 500 million mobile wallets, 40 plus African markets connected to the US and China, banking, cards, treasury, 300 cross-border corridors, 180 banks connected, and 300,000 merchants going to be available for the xrparmy to borrow. Along with that, JP Morgan has been saying they are invested in ISO 20022 because payments are the backbone of today's economy. In addition, DLT is distributed ledger technology. Investing right away will allow and provide real returns before ISO 20022 migration is completed. Absolutely beautiful. Then lastly, Digital Asset Daily says it saw 60% over 12 months in the game, literally going from 0.006, so a fraction of a penny, to $3.84. That was speculation. Now, there are far greater partnerships and use cases. It has real utility. Without suppression, this can get exciting. It's not about hype anymore. It's about utility. Where we can go from here, in my personal opinion, way higher than we did in the past, which is phenomenal when you think of it. Now, this is something I ran into today. I think you're really going to like it. Michael Hughes, who is basically the controller of currency for the United States of America. Prior to this position, he was Associate Director of the Division of Supervision Regulation for the Federal Reserve. What does he oversee? He oversees the OCC. Just so you all know, what that does is it regulates and supervises 200 national banks, federally licensed savings associations, and federally licensed branches of foreign banks in the United States and regs, accounting for more than 2/3 of the total assets of all U.S. commercial banks. This gentleman has a law degree from NYU, New York University. He has a bachelor's from Brown, an extremely prestigious school, and a master's from George Washington University. He's talking about the benefits of tokenization. Now, before we get into that, who is going to dominate going forward in tokenization? Ripple, Stellar, XRP, and XLM. And we'll throw some XDC in there as well. US banking watchdog says, tokenization promising, but crypto full of fraud. There is a lot of fraud out there. I do agree with that. This is the acting chief of the US Office of Controller of Currency that oversees banks. He is excited about the possibilities of tokenization to solve settlement problems. Sounds familiar? What does Ripple do? They help settle problems and find solutions with blockchain. Listen to this. Tokenization of assets could be the answer to the risky complexities of settling the movement of funds and securities, says Michael, the acting head of the U.S. Office of Controller of Currency. Here's a direct quote: tokenization is focused on solving an actual problem, and that problem is settlement, he said. At the DC FinTech Week event in Washington, he said, "This is boring back office stuff, but this is super important." Then he says that tokenization holds the promise to collapse that and to simplify it, if it's done right. What he's talking about is transaction problems. He says that any time an asset changes hands in the financial world, the transaction typically goes through multiple entities, checks of validity, and cleared and settled to officially land into the hands of the receipt. We know that, right? Ripple solve all that. He said at any of those layers, most of them could carry their own expense and problems. The transaction has a risk of failure. Tokenization helps too. Promises to collapse those promises. His OCC is so engaged in the idea of tokenization of real-world assets and liabilities that it's hosting a February 8, 2024, all-day discussion on the topic at Washington headquarters. But when it comes to the rest of the crypto space, he remains skeptical. We believe 99% of the scams and frauds out there going away. Now, lastly, he says, there seems to be more of a divide between crypto on the one hand and tokenization. Crypto, he said, tends to be driven by the hope of speculative gain. It still remains complete with fraud, scams, and hacks. Tokenization, not so much. Absolutely beautiful words to hear from one of the top dogs that's worked with the Federal Reserve, that works high up in control of all the banks in the United States. That's all I got for you today. Please don't forget to smash that subscription button, drop into the comments section, and share the video so others know what is truly happening in this digital revolution.